Hello, everyone. Welcome to the weekly collective reading. It's great to see you. I hope that your Sunday is getting off to a good start, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what's coming through. I don't know about all of you, but I definitely felt the intensity of the full moon. I did a special video. You can check it out. It's available for replay right now. But I think today one of the things that we'll look at, even just here in the channel messages, are themes of release, because that's what was coming through pretty loud and clear. But before we get into everything, my name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. This is a weekly collective reading where we're going to look at a 7-day forecast. We're going to look at a special topic, and I always begin at the very beginning with some channel messages. And I would be remiss to not show Mr. Apollo, who's listening intently. He's actually a part of these readings, guys. He listens back there and he's like, all right, Dad, let's get started. All right, everyone. Good to see you. So we're going to get into those channel messages as promised. And what I was picking up on really vividly in dreams was this image of being on a treadmill. And I just wanted to get off of that, because you're not making any progress. I'm not a big fan of sort of like that kind of working out. I'd rather go for a hike, take a walk, be out there with real people, or see that I'm making progress. So for me, the treadmill is a metaphor for not really making progress, just going through the motions, like rinsing and repeating. And it's kind of like when you watch a movie or a TV show, after a certain amount of times, even if you absolutely love it, it starts to just blend in and you're not connected. For those of you that have kids, you know what I'm talking about, because they'll have you play something time and again. You're like, I've heard that 500 times, no exaggeration. It doesn't do anything for me. So it feels like one of the things that this next period of time, this next week, this next month, quarter of the year, etc., is kind of pulling in is change. And how apt and appropriate that we have a butterfly here for the main special topic, leaning into the change. So one thing I'd like you to do is to look at parts of your life that feel like they're in a rerun, that you're just walking on a treadmill. You might be working, you might be feeling like you're making progress, but are you really going anywhere? So I feel like this is a time to get off the treadmill and to explore a little bit, to shake it up. And that was one of the metaphors that came through this morning. The other thing here, I think I put lean into change. So it's appropriate and even normal as you step into something that's unknown to feel like the balance is off. And when you're leaning, there's only so far you can go before your body moves. And so I feel like this week very much is that sort of leaning energy. And there'll be a tipping point where you have to step to regain balance. When we look at the 7-day, and especially when we look at the Celtic Cross, I want to see where the areas of imbalance are, because I also felt that sense of not being steady, feeling like something was off, like the inner ear balance was off, but not really. It was more energetic than anything. I'm seeing if there's anything else that's coming through here. And okay, one last thing, and it's really about the power of whatever works for you and however you want to say it, but prayer and intention. Mantra could be put in there as well. But I think it's important to close your eyes and focus on what it is you're trying to do and believe that it can be done, and ask for the clarity and the guidance to get there. So that can be your highest self. It can be your common sense. It can be your guides and angels. It can be the universe working synchronicities. It can be as magical as you want. That's kind of the cool thing with life. Like, if you just want it to be black and white and practical, it can be that. But if you're willing and if you're ready, it can be magic. And that's why we show up every Sunday, to kind of create the magic. So I'll also be keeping an eye out for where the magic might come through. Okay, that's a nice segue. So we're going to begin now with the 7-day forecast. Pretty self-explanatory. I'm going to pull one card for every day of the week and get us ready for this week ahead. Close your eyes. Imagine that you can see, since we just did a full moon video the other day, see the full moon over you, directly overhead, and imagine that a beam of light is tracing itself around your body. You are safely within that beam of light. Anything that comes through is for your highest good. By the way, I'm using a new deck here, one that was purchased by one of my fans, because I have like a wish list, so thank you. I have a few new ones, and towards the end I'll sneak peek them, and then I'm going to actually do a sort of like reveal later this week, a reaction video. All right, but back to business here. All right, let's focus on the next 7 days. Really? Okay. We're going to have an interesting next weekend here. All right, so let's get started with the energy of today. So we're looking at this Sunday. We have Ace of Swords in reverse, revision, clarity, and speaking up, speaking out, saying no if you need to. The Ace of Swords I like to look at almost like an editing pen. You're going through with red line and you're saying, I like this, but I don't like this, or we need to change this. So if there is a contract, if there's a plan for the week ahead, maybe it's your schedule or itinerary, this is also about going into that and saying, wait a second, I want to be open to change. I want to make sure that I'm not overdoing it. And revise and edit. Avoid overly critical thoughts, either from yourself or from external sources. There needs to be a constructive element to it rather than just, I don't like it, or I can't do this. I can't do this because, or here's how I can. Let's like reframe it. This is what I need to make it happen. Isn't that stronger than I can't do it? Because you're already saying I can do it, provided that, and then maybe it's more time, energy, or support. Really focus on words. Words are power. In tarot, we have the Hanged Man, and it's like the All-Father Odin hanging upside down so he could learn the secret of the runes. But like words have the same power that runes do. A different word can give a different color. And that's why language is so beautiful and amazing. So I'd like you to just flip it around and say, instead of I can't, here's how I can do it. This is what I need to know more. Even if it's just knowledge, I need more knowledge before moving forward. Good. Okay. That's a first step. I need to talk to someone. I need to see what else is out there. So use more positive speech and thought patterns today. It's really important. It can help. And speaking of the magic, and I know I talked about this, I think, on the lunar reading, it was like vocabulary. So when you start to open yourself up to see something, you'll see it everywhere. But when you don't know it or don't see it or don't want to see it, it's not going to reveal itself, okay? Enough said with that. It is a great day to have a conversation, ask a question, put things into writing, but be willing to have some flexibility in all of that. That was Sunday. Let's move on to the first day of the work week, Monday. 7 of Wands. I'm laughing at this illustration. She is bothered. If you look close at that, it's like a bunch of people, well, not people, what are these, little imps or something? But they're coming forth and creating some havoc. So let's go to the traditional illustration. So that's how we feel sometimes. That's how many of us might feel at the moment. So when you feel that sort of inner scream, first of all, it's okay to have emotions. There are creative outlets for that. I just watched the live stream for Lady Gaga's Coachella set. It's amazing. That scream reminds me of that. But art is a great way to get it out. You can write it, you can perform it, you can sing it, but therapy is another way. But basically, in the traditional 7 of Wands, there's a pushing back energy, if I can find the card here. But if not, I'm just going to describe it. Yeah, here it is. So this is a little preferable. You can see that this person's still going through it, right? But they're like, I don't think so. I don't think, not today. Whereas this person is kind of more in the throes of the emotions. So we need to kind of elevate it to this where the person's saying no rather than this one where they're just kind of like giving in. And here's the interesting thing, giving in to like, what's the card right before it? Success, 6 of Wands. What happens when you are successful? People scrutinize, people pick apart, people tear you apart. Everybody has a better way to do something. Everyone wants a piece of you, right? And so the 7 of Wands is about boundaries. You have achieved a certain level of success or visibility, and with that comes more scrutiny, and you're like, I don't think so, especially if someone's acting a fool. You can also just choose to push it out of your thought process. This isn't worth it. That's just one person, that's just one thought. It's not helping me kind of with everything else that's in front of me. So don't give a person, place, or energy more sort of like bandwidth than it deserves. And don't let people get under your skin, because this could be a day where there's a lot going on. And the other thing here is you can work smarter, not harder. Yeah. Push back. Just say, not today, or how about next week, or I don't think so, or this isn't what we talked about, or maybe we can try this. Any number of ways of just saying no, but creatively saying no. And don't add anything to your schedule. So if you're trying to pick a day to do something, Tuesday's better because we have an ace. And the end of the week is better because we have Empress. So wait a day. I mean, really any other day is better. So Monday should be a day where you are finishing what you've started. You're pushing back on unnecessary stuff. And it would be a great day for exercise, meditation, an artistic release of some sort, something like that. I think that's really, really good. Okay? All right. Other things that could be coming through is just people trying to push their stuff on you. So if the success piece isn't resonating, it could also just be someone that really wants to kind of push their responsibility on you. And that's why boundaries, especially as illustrated here, are important. Okay, let's move on. Tuesday looks great. We have an ace, another ace. You got 2 aces this week. This is the further development of an idea. So I mentioned today it's about writing, speaking, maybe changing it around a little bit. It starts to really take flight on Tuesday. We see this new sort of like new dawn, of course, is illustrated here, but there's also this invigoration. Normally, I would see this with Ace of Pentacles. Maybe I even said Ace of Wands, but it looks like Ace of Wands. It's Ace of Pentacles. Because I was just looking at the cylinders on this one. So with Ace of Pentacles, we're actually getting buy-in. This could be someone that says, hey, are you interested? Hey, I'm interested in you. And this could also be you deciding to plant a seed. So it's almost like this card comprises the energy of both, especially with the sun energy. But anyway, somehow on Tuesday, turn the ignition. This is a day where you want to show that level of energetic investment. And if it is in writing or if you have the contract, you might be even signing on the dotted line. There just feels like there's this sense of engagement. That's the word I was looking for. Definitely look at schedule, money, resources, anything related to the energy of Pentacles. And it just feels like things are starting to go where they need to. So far, this is the best day of the week. Really do what you can to make it magical, make something happen, okay? Now looking at the midpoint, 8 of Cups in reverse, cyclical energy, and a question of like, is this where you want to be? All right, so Wednesday. So you make and break cycles when the 8 of Cups is reversed. For some of you, you might just be deciding to walk away and say, I need some time. But it could also just be the final decision, like, you know what? I thought about this. It's compelling, it's tempting, but I think I'm going to pass. But if you need to walk away from something, the door is going to be open. Here's your traditional card. There's always room to return. If you need to make some sort of if you need to make a break, that's really what's coming through. Try to do so in a way that allows for future connection, because you might end up collaborating with someone, working with someone, talking to someone. We don't want to end the sort of connection completely unless absolutely necessary or desired. You could just be overdue for a break. So this is someone who works and works and works, but never takes time to themselves. So please take some time for yourself. In relationships, it could be tricky. If you're trying to get someone to make a decision, they need time, potentially. And any type of relationship, friendship, work, or love, they just might need to step away from the heat of the moment and say, let me think about that. And don't rush them. Just like you might need time, give them the time that they need. It may feel like someone's turning their back on you, but I do feel like what they're trying to do is just get clarity. This is really interesting. In this illustration, we see a little bird on the shoulder. If you leave someone with a thought before the conversation ends, it's going to kind of like replay in their head. So leave it on a good note. If you leave it on a bad note, they're just going to keep walking. If you leave it on a good note, it will eventually sort of, like they're going to say, oh yeah, that makes sense, okay? So it's the sort of long-term goal that, like, yeah, just don't rush it. It's like cooking. If you take it out of the oven too soon, the cake is going to just fall apart. So you're putting a thought out there and you're not going to get immediate buy-in. Leave things on a good note. Plant the seed. The seed just came through the day before here, here with the Ace of Pentacles. Give it some time to germinate, okay? Let's move on. As we look at Thursday, pretty good. Now we have a card of apprenticeship, learning, and also just getting to work. So if there's anything that you want to study or learn, this is an absolute yes. If there's something that you want to do, it's really about the attention to detail. That's where everything is going to really matter. And in the long run, people are going to pay attention to that detail. It's an artisan card. I'm going to pull the traditional card while we're talking. You'll see someone kind of hammering away, literally, at all the fine details. They're not distracted, so this is a day to maybe work a little bit more on your own. Pay attention to all of the P's and Q's, get everything exactly the way it needs to be, and you'll get a lot out of this time and energy investment. Again, learning, teaching, mentorship, all of that is also great. And it's just a good card for time, energy, money, resources, and learning. So business in general, looking really good on Thursday, and just productivity overall. And much like I was saying, this is an isolated card. He's kind of working on his own. Come up for air periodically. One thing that I would say that you could benefit from is to, from time to time, give a progress update, share an iterative, if you're working, like what you're working on, and see if you're doing things to the expectation of others, because you might be able to course correct and get to the finish line quicker and not have as much revisions later if you do that. Okay, so pretty good day. Now let's move to Friday. Apologies, YouTube is getting more stringent, so I have to, even when there's nothing to see, I'm like, I gotta block it out or they'll flag it. All right, so we have the Empress coming through here, and this was what we talked about in the daily read. So this is the day to release something. This represents birthing, creating, nurturing, being the champion for something, and also owning it. Accountability is going to be really important for yourself and others. You may need to hold someone else accountable. You might have to hold yourself accountable as well. What I like as we kind of look at her dress is everything is there. She's creating everything and saying, this is the day. This is the day for a launch, for an announcement, for things to finally start to go next level. And she's the queen. This is a day to kind of step into the moment and say, like I left you guys with the mantra this morning, I'm ready, I've earned this, let's do this. As far as like the most influential and powerful day, yeah, Friday's pretty much it. You can't get much better, especially in what I'm looking at here, because I think we've got the chariot here, but during the work week, she's the strongest card. So loving the energy of Friday. This upcoming Friday looks really, really good. One thing to be mindful of, even though she's upright, is to not feel like you have to fix everything or everyone, particularly because we have a lot of cards with working and like people pushing energy on you. Just kind of have your boundaries and let people come to you. That's the magic and the sort of regal energy that the Empress brings. Okay, let's go to the weekend. Next Saturday, we see the Chariot in reverse. You might have to take a couple of steps back. This can also represent like a pivot, saying, you know what, I need to change course, change direction. I'm allowed to do so. There could also be some challenges with people that are working with you or under you if you're a manager, or just collaborative and cooperative energy overall. Tug of war. Some people want to go this way, some people want to go that way, some people don't want to take direction in general. So you may be asked to kind of like step it up as a leader, help people understand what they're working for and why they're working so hard, and that is going to help you make progress. It's okay, by the way, to take a step back, to change your mind, to change direction. It's often necessary and important, so allow yourself to do that if you need to, okay? And now we got two cards coming through for a week from today. So here they are. The first one is Page of Cups in reverse, and the second card is the Page of Swords in reverse. Let's just look at them upright so we can see them more easily. Starting with the Page of Cups. So when the card is reversed, and I love the way that this is illustrated, you may have too much of an emotional connection to something. You're too invested to see it clearly. And so someone else may have to come in to help you see it from a new perspective. There could also just be a need to focus on better emotional health. And if you're carrying too much of a burden, if you're feeling something too intensely, this can also be just a chance to take a step back and say, okay, I need a minute, I need a day, and that's important. All right, the other reversal was the Page of Swords. Listening. Look at the ears. We're looking at an elf on this card. Also, we're looking at a bird's eye perspective there with like the hawk. So look and listen before speaking, and make sure that other people are paying attention if you are in a speaking role. See if they're looking at their watches, see if they're stressed out, see if there's nonverbal sort of cues that they're giving you. Boredom, anger, inquisitive sort of glances. Pause then and say, hey, what's going on? And see if they're okay. See if you can reconnect with them. Also see if they have questions and if it made sense. If you're a listener and you're confused, raise your hand, or I mean, we don't really do that as grown-ups, but like speak up when the time is appropriate, and ask a question. Say, I heard this. I interpreted it as this. Is that what you want? And you can also say, wait, how does this connect with this goal or this thing that we talked about? Sometimes people forget. So if you do it in a non-confrontational way, they might come up with a solution and see you as someone that's a team player rather, and it could be very good. Okay, let's look at all the cards here, look at highlights, challenges, and then we'll move on to the elements. As I said earlier, I feel like Tuesday and Friday are really, really great days overall, because you have something starting to blossom with the Ace of Pentacles here, and then we have you in an ultimate power position and developmental position by the end of the week. Challenges, I think Monday is the most challenging with the Seven of Wands, because stress, responsibility, there's a lot going on. The midweek is also a little challenging. And then a week from today, those are the ones where you want to take care of yourself, focus on stress management. The magical day is Wednesday, though, because you could plant a seed that can come back and really be good. Don't worry if initially someone is like, I don't know, I need some time. Perfect. Think about it. By the way, here's something to look at while you're doing that. Like, give them something to chew on. It's like an appetizer. That's a good way to look at Wednesday. It's an appetizer. It's not the main course. I feel like Friday's the main course. All right, let's move on to the elements. So this is the only part of this reading that is going to be specific to groupings of signs. Everything else is for everybody. I neglected to say that at the beginning, so just clarifying that now. All right, we're going to look at fire, earth, air, and water. I'm going to stick with this same deck because I'm liking what I see here. All right, fire, earth, okay, air, you got two. Big changes with air, and water. Okay, and air is the only one that's upright this week. Interesting. All right, we're going to start off with fire. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. The Hermit in reverse. So you're taking some time this week to research, to learn, to work on your own. We even talked about the Eight of Pentacles coming through towards the latter part of the week, Thursday, where it would actually be advantageous to work on your own. I do think that by the end of the week, definitely Friday and Saturday, it's important to come out of your shell. The Hermit reversed represents sometimes too much introspection, too much research, too much time away from others. And then we start to, lose perspective when that happens. So make sure that you're not losing perspective. Talk to some other people. Get out there and socialize. Also, it can just be like a best kept secret. The Hermit is very powerful. They have a lot to offer, a lot of knowledge. And this is a time to share that with others, however it may seem appropriate, or just put things into motion. So moving from inaction and passive energy into action and movement and application, like taking something theoretical and putting it into your applied day-to-day life. That's pretty much what I'm getting here. If you wanted to do something like take a class, learn something new, do some research, absolutely, but we do have to put a little bit of a timeline on that. So I would say, again, by the end of the week, ostensibly even by the midweek, you should be at a point where you can start to move forward, okay? People may be misreading your energy too, because this can come off as either shy, aloof, or standoffish. So work at looking around. I had to do an event recently here in LA where my responsibility was to work the room. I had to talk to people and get them to talk to each other. I have no problem talking, clearly, because I show up here every week, but it's different when you're in real life and you're in a complete room of strangers, like 300 or 400 people were at the event. So that was a lot. And what I did was just flip. I was like, okay, I just have to be a different facet of myself today. This is the public facing version where I'm going to smile, engage, and I'm not here for me, I'm here for them. That made it easier. All I have to do is listen and get them to open up. So it was more of a job. And then you kind of leave the shy version of yourself or the introspective version of yourself behind. And I'm like, I'm actually here for you. What do you need? How are you doing? I can do that easily. So there are ways to come out of your hermit, which is just like to show a different part of yourself, or remember, it's a job sometimes. You just show up, and actors do this all the time. They perform. Many of them are very shy in real life because that's a persona. So you can put on a different persona. You can show a different facet of yourself. Just a little bit of practical advice. Moving on to Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Here's what's coming through for the earth signs. I mentioned that right before the Seven of Wands is the Six of Wands, success. So interestingly enough, with a reversal of the Six of Wands, there are two different ways that we can read this. Some of you may be surprised or a little bit uncomfortable in the spotlight. Nonetheless, the spotlight wants you to kind of step into it this week. You may also be redefining what success means to you, and it isn't always about the visibility. It isn't always about the accolades, but sometimes it is. And there could just be a fear of meeting up to your own and or other people's expectations. And again, one thing to just be mindful of is it feels like there's more where this came from. So if you're willing to just go for it, be the best version of yourself, you may get more responsibility. You may get a little bit more, sort of scrutiny, but eventually you're going to get more opportunity too. It's worth it. I really feel like it's worth putting yourself out there. People are already ready to receive, and they're looking forward to hearing what you have to say. So this is a week to really lean into the engagement if you can. I think it would be super helpful. Okay? Joint success is another thing here. If someone else is shining and you're their friend, their partner, you work with them, you're in their energy. You are just as valid as they are. So celebrate others' successes, even when you're experiencing challenges, because eventually the tables will turn and you would want that same energy returned. Put out what you want to get back, and know that it's always good to be a friend and to be an ally and to be a champion this week. So don't be afraid to say, you did an amazing job. It's good to hear. It's great to say it too. You got to mean it though. Don't say it if you don't mean it. All right. Focus now here on air signs. It's a cool week for you guys. We have two cards. Death is the first one. I kind of like that. First of all, we have a female personification of death, and she fought to make the change happen. This is a very Viking sort of thing. We see all of these heads on stakes, and she's flying over it. And it's like, I worked to make this happen. I fought for the necessary change. So don't give up. If you can put your mind to it, you can make it happen. There may be some sacrifice. There may be some things that you have to let go of during this week to make that happen, but I feel like it's worth it. And then beneath it, we had the Ace of Cups. So sweetness follows. Bittersweet. Something exits, something better enters. And there could be a better relationship coming forth. There could be something that more suits your heart's desire. And there's just this decision, I need to move away from this. So the butterfly is beautifully connected to the death card, because we could just imagine that on the death card, there's a moth coming through a cocoon, or a butterfly coming through a chrysalis. It's, I got to break through. I'm no longer the caterpillar. Instead, I'm something new. And so it's bittersweet. Graduation is like that. Retirement is like that. A birth of a child, the first day you're married, because it marks a significant shift. Nothing really changed, like from the moment before some words were said until after, like, here's your diploma, or I do, or whatever it is. But the second after, it's like, I'm different, and it starts to set in. But I feel like this could be a really good week. It's also just a mixed bag. So there could be something really frustrating and something that's kind of exiting out, or something that needs to change and it requires time and energy and it's a little frustrating. And then there's something really, really good. Life is like that. It doesn't always just focus on one or the other. You can have both the best and worst day of your life because there's something that happens in the morning and something that happens in the afternoon. Take it all in stride and with a grain of salt, realizing that we don't live in the highs and the lows. We spend most of our time building up to a high or going into that denouement after it. Peaks and valleys. So enjoy the vista when you're at the top. Take a breath when you're at the bottom. Don't let either get to your head or to your heart, because you might have a little bit of both this week. So take the good with the bad. Moving on to water, we have the Nine of Cups in reverse. Ultimately, this is a wish fulfillment card, meaning that your dreams are starting to come true. We can even see it. I love that they actually show that here. So we see something developing, something germinating, something coming to fruition. And when it does, it is that sense of, oh my gosh, here we go. And there is this sometimes bittersweet energy even with that, like I achieved my goal. Sometimes it's anticlimactic, but sit with it for a second and don't let it be. Remember how hard you've been working for something. Now, this is extremes, just like I was talking about with all of the air signs. So water, you could be feeling moments of elation, moments of depression, moments of just extreme punctuation of anything in between. So take time this week and ground yourself, remembering that I mentioned on Monday it would be a great day to meditate, to exercise, to rest. We need to find a way to ground things and allow your wishes to come true. Know that it's worth making that wish. That was something I believe that came through in the lunar reading, or maybe it was the last one that I did. I did so many in one day that it was a lot. It's like 3 or 4 readings. It was a busy Saturday. Whoever I said that for, just know this. It's worth continuing to make that wish come true. And continue to make wishes in general. Sometimes we think it's just New Year's and birthdays. No, every day can be a chance to recalibrate and move into that. Okay? All right. We're going to get ready for the next portion of the reading. A quick reminder, if you're enjoying this, I hope you are, hit the subscribe button if you're brand new. That'll allow you to chat when you're in the live stream. It'll also give you notifications of when upcoming readings are going to happen. Also, you can give me a follow on social media, and thanks in advance. I see some people giving stickers right now and joining as members. Appreciate it. We'll probably do another members specific live stream maybe this week. I'm going to try to do it every other week, so I'll look at the last one and figure out when the next one will be, and I'll put an announcement this week. Like I said, I have some new decks that are coming through. I'll show those at the end of this week, so keep an eye out for basically an unboxing this week. Okay, we're going to get into the main portion of the forecast here. This is basically the special topic. And this is where the butterfly energy is coming through. So this is about seeing where change needs to happen, letting go of the resistance to that change and ultimately leaning into it. And seeing how you can get your footing because, as I mentioned, sometimes it's a little discombobulating when change is coming forth. All right, quickly looking at Apollo while I select a deck here. Let's get him focused in as well. There we go. All right. Thank you, Apollo, for showing up today. I'm going to let the decks select. We'll take the one of the highest suit. Oddly enough, it's the 10 of Swords. So there we go. This is a cool deck, too, When Women Had Wings. I know you guys like it. Already a synchronicity with that Ace of Swords in reverse. going to grab my drink and then we'll get back to this. All right, let's begin with your catalyst energy here. We have a really interesting deer. I had to keep looking at that as I was kind of pulling all the cards. Caught my attention. Eye contact for sure is coming through here. So when I think of a deer typically in real life, there are a few things that come forth. I just talked about it in one of my readings, but sometimes there is the tendency for sudden movements to scare deer away. So this week in particular, we want to avoid fight or flight. We don't make good decisions when we're in that energy because heightened emotions, it's like the Nine of Cups that some of you had this week, right? In one of the decks that I use, the Wild Unknown, it's the Four of Pentacles, which is a protection card. So that fight or flight mentality comes because of self-preservation. So do what you need to do to feel like you are protected and you are surrounded by people and resources in your life that can help. And don't shy away from eye contact. That's really what draws me into this illustration. It's an interesting one. So you can tell a lot with nonverbal, with the eye contact. Again, I think for those of you that might be speaking up this week, I think it's important here. And I agree with the commenter there. It does look like something out of a fantasy movie, like Pan's Labyrinth. I agree. But that there's something a little sinister about the deer. That's what's bothering me, I think. But I feel like it is just the energy of fear coming through. Don't be afraid to ask the tough question, because I feel like the deer would answer it. It's like saying, try me, ask it. I know. So there's a little bit of a challenging energy in this card, which is weird. So it's like when you know that they know and they know that you know that they know. So like just get it out in the open. It will kind of cut the tension a little bit. All right, we're going to leave the deer to the side there, maybe a little bit off center so I can focus on other things. All right, let's look at the overall spread here. You know, the Ten of Swords at the center probably aligns with that on some levels. So this definitely is a moment in time, a week in particular, where healing is coming forth. And I thought I saw the Ace of Wands earlier. Now it came through here. We got really like 3 aces this week because you had the Ace of Swords reversed before, Ace of Pentacles upright. Now we have the Ace of Wands reversed. Lots of options, a lot going on. It's going to be important to focus, take care of yourself. The Emperor keeps coming through time and again as well over the past couple of days here. So very interesting. Let's start with the center card, Ten of Swords. Okay. I almost didn't see that there was a beautiful angelic being there above all, or beneath all the swords here. So it's about rising above, since the card is reversed. Rising above pain. And using pain to help us learn and hopefully not repeat things in our life. So pain is a teacher. It's not the most enjoyable teacher, but it is a teacher. When it hurts, just like, you know, the reflex not to touch a thorn on a rose or, you know, to burn yourself on the stove, it is there to protect us as well. So what is the hurt helping me do or avoid or understand in my life? And when I understand that the hurt is helping, I can let it go. It's okay to feel pain. I think that's something that gets lost in the whole spiritual dialogue sometimes is it's not all rainbows and unicorns. Sometimes it's the Ten of Swords. And when it hurts, you have to kind of lean into that and say, why, how, and how can I fix this? How can I make sure that I heal the wound, right? One thing that I love about the Ten of Swords, I'm going to pull the traditional card here, is there's always a new dawn behind it. Even in the darkest cards, I have a couple here that are popping up, so I'll show you just for educational purposes. Even in the darkest cards, there's always a glimmer of hope. And so what the Ten of Swords represents is I'm done. It's the fullest of full stops, right? So in this moment in time, you can rest assured that something better is waiting for you. So in the background, we see a bright day. The clouds are clearing. He's even kind of facing that. Yes, something hurt. Yes, it could have gone better. But there's something else to focus on. And you're done. You're clearly done with something. Another example of one of the darker cards, we have this card, which can represent a lack of money or resources, bad health, feeling like you're isolated. What's behind them? Shelter. They just have to walk through the front door. It's a church. It's a safe haven. And there's two people there. They may not be ready, but they could help each other. There's hope in all of the cards in tarot. There's a way through all of the energies. So there's never a bad card. It's just what we need to see at that moment. That's why I don't have fear when I look at the cards. I'm like, why did it come through? So if you're feeling pain, why? And what's going on at the moment? And what do you want? Because really the pain is also helping you see that there might be something even better for you, right? So I'm going to challenge someone in this. You don't need to fix it, but you don't need to stay in the Ten of Swords. You don't stay in Ten of Swords. You don't learn to live with the Ten of Swords. The only difference is if it's like chronic pain in your body. But when we're looking at a life sort of situation, if you're in a relationship where someone is creating Ten of Swords energy, you don't stay. You don't learn to live with it. If you're in a job where someone is constantly shooting arrows your way, you don't stay. You find a way to fix that by talking to someone else, by getting the help, by working with others, or you protect yourself in a way that sometimes means you walk away. Because there is another card. I'll find it here. It's important because I want to address that. I very rarely look at chat because it sometimes distracts me when I'm doing the reading. But no, if there is an option, folks, this is the option. Sometimes you walk away. You don't fix it, but you don't stay. If someone isn't willing to treat you well, this is the other side of the Ten of Swords. It's a figurative death. This isn't a literal death. This is saying, I'm going to save myself. The pain, the sort of suffering, the unnecessary arrows and barbs that are coming my way, because I deserve better than that. So sometimes you walk away. That would be I think that's what you're getting at, and I'm not trying to pick a fight, but I'm like, no, you don't learn to live with Ten of Swords. It's a misinterpretation of it, aside from chronic pain or fatigue. But even that, there might be something that you can do to help it. Just wanted to kind of give you an alternate perspective. You do what you want to do, but I think there's another option, and it's a beautiful one at that. Oh, sorry, wrong card. But anyway, let's go ahead and move forward. On top of this, we have Queen of Cups, and in this moment, she's saying, I'm open, I'm ready, I'm worthy. And that's why I was kind of advocating, because I'm always in that energy of you deserve better. And I firmly believe that too. So this is a moment to receive an upgrade. There could be new love, new opportunity, new creative ideas coming forth in this moment in time. There could also be a chance to simply have that wish fulfilled. We saw it for some of the signs this week, wish fulfillment. I'm going to pull Apollo up for a second because he's stressed out. I know, buddy. We were talking about the Ten of Swords. So also surround yourself with people or pets or energies that allow you to feel this sense of joy and love. Environments matter quite a bit. Everybody gets their fix of Apollo. I know, buddy. That's how I feel too. All right. Let's move forward now and take a look at deep past here. So we have the Ace of Swords in reverse. And the Ace of Swords in reverse, like we said, could be a chance to edit, to change, to speak up. It's also equivalent to saying no in tarot. So sometimes we just have to say no. With no apologies. You don't have to say no, thank you. You can just say no. Because it's one word. It's succinct. And sometimes the thank you implies that there might be some way that they can get you to do it. You're just going to say, no, I'm good. If you want to do, I don't even say I appreciate it. No, we're good, I'm good, and you can move forward. This is also a chance for you to remove something, to edit, to clarify, to clear it out a little bit, okay? Let's move to recent past. I'm going to give him a little blanket so he has something to nest in, and then we're going to talk about the Eight of Wands. For those of you that have dogs, you know that sometimes if they're digging in the background, they need to have that little, they make a little nest. It quieted them down. All right, here we go with Eight of Wands. So it's a busy week, folks. There's a lot going on. One of the decks that I really love that I recently used, I can't think if it was for Libra, but it's the Wildwood Tarot, and they show people in this card. It's like, I think it's called Hearthfire. And so sometimes we're so busy with just getting stuff done, sending out emails, making telephone calls, go, 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 go. Or even for those of you that have like a really big family, a really busy life, it's just like constant distraction, right? Sometimes it's good to just get together. So like in a work situation, that would be, hey, let's go for lunch. And it's not a working lunch, like let's just hang out or let's go for coffee. It's the camaraderie that you often can have in a work situation, because then you're going to have to work on a project, or let's order in some food and we'll go into the conference room and hang out. Whatever it is where you just feel like you're together, you're in it together. That's what I have with this as well. I don't know why it's in my head, but I have the song from Katie Lang, which is great, Constant Craving. So that song's really about longing. And sometimes we put ourselves into situations where we're busying our mind to bury that feeling of longing. And it's important to figure out, what is it that I desire? What is it that I'm longing for? Can I slow down long enough to make sure that I'm making a connection? Because that's also what I'm getting with this. Connect with the people around you, and don't get so busy that you're forgetting what matters most. You got to tune into the heart space a little bit. All right. Ace of Wands in the crowning position. Now we're talking about vitality. Have you ever had like 8 hours of sleep and you wake up and you're still exhausted? Have you ever gone on a vacation and you come back and you're exhausted? Or you're getting ready for work or whatever and you're just like, I don't want to do this today. I'm sure. If you haven't, please share your secrets. But most of us, most humans on the planet, have had to do something and we lack the energy for any number of reasons. So it could just be that you're running yourself ragged. And in the case of sleep, one night won't make up for, 3 weeks of overtime, or if you're a new parent, you're going to be tired. You're going to have this energy come through sometimes, and you're just going to have to lean on each other, and you eventually get past that hard point, but it's hard at the beginning. Take special care right now, because there's a lot of good stuff that wants to happen. An ace is opportunity. An ace of wands is passion, ideas, development, but the energy is missing. The vitality is missing. So exercise, diet, boundaries in your life, and slowing down. All of those things will help you a little bit to reclaim this. And then anything else that you kind of glean as well as we go through this reading. The potential is there, but the energy isn't. Okay? You're going to make it, though. There is a silver lining. We have the Nine of Wands. It's one of the ultimate survival cards. So she is saying, hey, I fought hard to get to this moment in time, and I'm still standing, to quote the Elton John song. And so you are still standing. I'm going to show the traditional one because it will illustrate where you might also be experiencing some challenges. So what happens, though, and I think this is the vitality thing, that's the when you can pull it together, you'll have the Ten of Wands, which is completion. But it feels like some of you just have like a headache, a migraine, or your mind is constantly fixating on one thing. So there's your traditional Nine of Wands. He survives, but there's a cost. Energy, vitality, emotional sort of like just concentration. When you've been through a challenging moment, it's like, I just need a minute. I need to watch something on television that takes me away from this, or read a book, or just sit and meditate. I need to remove myself. So give yourself a couple of nights this week to just decompress. There comes a point where there is no additional progress that can be made. Try though you may, the end product will be worse if you don't rest. So I'm not seeing it yet. I have the Strength card, which is kind of the same, but you need to rest. That will help. And you need a chance to let go of what's in the head. So it's also talking it out, whether friends or therapy, that's up to you. But there's something kind of stuck in the head that needs to get out. And it is this sort of like cognitive, like anchor. That's the best way that I can kind of get with what I'm seeing here, okay? All right, King of Pentacles. This is the self-care. He's in reverse. He is one of the paternal cards in tarot, meaning that he takes care of others. This is like second only to the Emperor card when it comes to the ability to provide. He's one of the bosses, but he really, in the upright position, he has more than enough. Usually this is a lavish card. It's the only thing lacking on this one is like there's usually tons of vines and, just almost opulent stuff. When it's reversed, there are two things. Make sure that here it is. Like literally, he's wearing grapes and vines, and there's vines growing around him, and he's got this crown that has grapes on it, and we got a big old pentacle that it's like rich and lush and vibrant. Oftentimes, the King of Pentacles can create that for others, but he doesn't always give it to himself. So if you're that kind of King of Pentacles energy, take care of you. Make sure that pamper yourself. Get a massage, take a night off, order some food, whatever your version of pampering is. It doesn't have to mean every night, because the flip side of that is that opulence and that focus on material can sometimes take you away from what matters. So it's either you're not treating yourself, in which case you should, or you're focusing too much on material, physical stuff, and it's saying, no, go more metaphysical, go more magical, go more inward. Still, it's about something inside that needs to be developed, but love and treat yourself well. Focus less on accolades, focus less on opinions, focus less on gold and glittery things, because you don't take it with you. Tracy Chapman had a great song in the 90s, I think, 80s or 90s, called Mountains of Things. And actually, Peter Gabriel also did one with like Big Time. You can't take the stuff with you to the other side. The only things that you take the emotions, you take the love, you take the pain, you take the experiences, all the stuff in the heart. You take the wisdom. Everything else, it's on the physical plane. So if you're going to build something, build a legacy that creates something better for the future generations. That's why in this moment in time, I don't understand people that have the capacity to share and develop and make it better, and they choose to make it worse. I mean, I understand it. There's a lack of development and self-awareness, but like, it's not going to go with you. So share the love, share the wealth, hope, and hope, yeah. But also kind of like develop yourself too. The work that you do on yourself, you will take with you, and we come back. That's another reason to make this planet great. I think there would be no question about recycling and treating the earth better if you knew you would have to come back here 10,000 times. Just like you clean your bathroom, make your bed, wash your clothes, same sort of thing here. So we're looking at the environment and all of that. So let's, figuratively speaking, make sure that we're making our bed every morning, because we have to sleep in it. And when we're gone, someone else will have to sleep in it. So like, it's that kind of energy to make it a better place. And if you can't, then do something else. If you can't leave something better than when it started, it's not what you should be focusing on. And if you're around people that don't do that, find a different group or speak up or create the change that you need to, right? One thing, just to give people general clarity and hope on things, I believe that the planet is a pendulum. Like, things swing in one direction and another. We eventually get back to the center. So sometimes we're at extreme highs, sometimes we're at extreme lows, but the pendulum always swings. So know that whatever you're in, if you're in the Ten of Swords moment, the pendulum doesn't stay there. It usually swings to the other direction. So when you reach that, that is actually one of the hopeful things too, is okay, thank goodness. Now we can start moving over here, which is right here. All right. So we have strength coming through. The strength card shows you, first of all, you have it. You have what it takes. It's also a call to focus on your inner strength, your physical strength, your body, your mind, body, and spirit. And I love that we don't see domination. It plays a role. I'm glad that we have it in the traditional cards, because as a reader, if I'm just reading something general, I want to go back to that regular deck because it helps me see what's going on. The fact that this deck chose itself today, we can actually highlight the fact that we don't see that need to be right, the need to dominate, the need to prove, which is a part of this. This also shows you the other side of the coin. Once it's done, there can be a peace. There can be this sort of peace and calm and a new cycle that's starting to sort of step in. So because that traditional card does show us something important, the words that come through from Spirit are exactly this, and it's a question. At what cost? ? So as you're looking at doing something, at what cost does it come? What is it going to require from you in order to be done? If the cost is worth it, if you get a return on it, then you're like, okay, great. If you're paying more than what you're getting, just like in real life, it's not worth the cost. In this illustration, the traditional one, we see someone taking a risk, putting their hands in the mouth of the beast, and the ability to soothe the beast, to convince someone to get it to work. You can do it. You can do it this time. Maybe you can do it 2 or 3 times. But eventually, this isn't going to be worth it. You're going to get tired, you're going to miss something, and they're going to bite. So, diminishing returns. You can get this done this time, but in the future, is it worth it? So we're looking at the long-term goals. I don't know. Okay, it was downstairs. Yeah, I was just talking to someone in my own building who I randomly told what I was doing. He said, what would you go back and tell your younger self? This is someone who's maybe all of 20 or something. And I was like, that's a great question. And what I would have told my younger self is, don't sweat the small stuff. Things are going to go in directions you never imagined. Be open, and don't be a perfectionist. And in this one, if I were like to have the same question, it would be like, at what cost? It's not always worth it. Save your strength. So save your strength for things that matter most. That's the takeaway. If I could go back and talk to all of us as we were younger, sometimes you want to save your strength and focus on something else. We have 2 king cards between the strength, 2 divine masculine, divine feminine. One thing that I do love about this is it wins out. The divine feminine wins out. So there might be a couple of people that are just very bossy, very persistent, stand your ground. But eventually, like I said, find a place where you're not always having to prove yourself, if possible. So we have the Emperor card in reverse, reclamation of power. Someone could just be challenging you. Why do you believe that? How did you accomplish that? What's this all about? So on some levels, it's Spirit saying, just get ready for the question. You can also say it's none of your business, or you can just say, no, this is what I want. In a more clear way, because I said, no, yes, this is what I want. Say, yes, I've given it ample time. This is what I want. Words are powerful, so people might just want to hear that from you in order to believe you. But there could also be this could be your parents, this could be a parent and a boss, this could be siblings. There's someone around you that wants to pull you in a direction, and you're going to stand up and say, I'm good. This is what I want. I've got this. And again, maybe you're just walking away from the argument, because the 10 of Swords, by the way, can just be an argument. It doesn't have to be like physical pain or mental pain. It's just an argument. All right. In the outcome, we have Page of Cups. So in this beautiful illustration, we have something coming through that feels good. Again, it's what you want. It's worth it. And someone who's willing to take you as you are, not trying to change you. It's not a fixer-upper sort of thing. It's like, no, this is exactly what I'm looking for. So let's look at this before we go into the expanded forecast here. So what's the change? Well, it's already here. Like I said, there could be this tendency for people to lean in and want to control you. There could be this sense of pain or discomfort or exhaustion. And this is where the change needs to happen. You have at least 1 or 2 people that are willing to connect. You have at least one or two options, two aces and two cups cards in the court area as well, showing that there's a couple of paths in front of you. So the encouragement here is to slow down, to save your strength, and to reach out for the one that feels right for you. And to, if you don't see it, then maybe to create it, because these are all boss cards here in the lower right corner. So this could be a time for that. Okay, let's move forward and expand this forecast into health, wealth, love, and destiny. We're going to begin with the energy of health, which is your mind, body, and spirit. Okay, this is totally connected to the Ten of Swords. It's like a murder of crows, basically, the Wrath card. This is the argument. And again, the older I get, the less I need to argue with other people. You can disagree with me. I can disagree with you. Unless it's my immediate health or well-being that's at risk, that's why it's in health, I'm not going to fight with you because it's just going to waste my energy. Now, if it's something that is health and well-being, you bet I'm going to fight for that. But that's the only time in this particular week that it makes sense. I would say fight for your money, fight for your health, fight for your well-being, but don't just fight, especially if you're just trying to change someone's mind. We all get a chance to, you don't want someone trying to change your energy. The magic this week is to plant a seed. It's so much better to ask a question than to fight outright. You could just say, have you ever thought about this? Or did you know this? Give them some new information or some new knowledge, and then walk away and let them think about it. Let them come back to you. And you can even say, when you're ready to talk about this, when we're not fighting, we can have the conversation, but not now. So the other thing that I get when I look at a Wrath card can be, it kind of reminds me of ants on the skin. So there could be something that's, again, it could be a rash. And for some of you, it could also just be this energy that's kind of going through your body. And it's like, I got to scratch my head. There's this and there's that. So it's letting some things go because it isn't worth that energy anymore in your life. Okay. All right. Now let's just look at the cards here for all they're worth in respect to health. So again, with the deer, which I put off to the side, but now we need to bring it in as we're going further along here. There could be something that you're afraid to look at, going back to the eyes. And so I want you to pay attention to something if it doesn't feel right. Particularly, like I said, if there's pain. That's why I was challenging you. We don't want to ever, even just in a general health reading, and a standard disclaimer applies. I'm not a doctor. I'm looking at the energy of health. But if it hurts, you got to talk about it. Whether it's emotional, physical, whatever, we want to deal with that. This can be also just an encouragement to get acupuncture or a massage to help with something in the body, because it's typically the back. So pay special attention to spinal health and get any sort of support that you might need there. I think there's a lot going on in work. We'll look at that in a moment, but these cards are sort of connected with work. This can be an argument at work, or this can be a lot of pressure. We need some levity. We need a chance to kind of take a deep breath. Really focusing on building up physical strength. So gently working with your body can be mat-based exercises as well. It's not always weightlifting. It can be like yoga and Pilates that slowly like help you stretch and build muscle. That's coming through here. Don't overdo it when it comes to food, alcohol, any sort of vice. King of Pentacles overdoes it. And the Emperor's too stationary. So gentle movement, building up muscles, not overdoing it when it comes to consuming too much. This will help you with the vitality that we talked about. And we definitely get a lot of energy around love and relationships that could help you. Okay, let's move on. Let's move into wealth. So we have turn your back. I mentioned when I was pulling that alternate Ten of Swords that sometimes it's okay to walk away. It's really difficult in a conversation, a heart-to-heart, when someone just ignores you. So if someone's turning their back and just isn't engaging, they're not ready. It's not worth it. Follow the energy. So this could even be an encouragement for some of you to move in a different direction. I'm fully aware right now that we are moving into strange financial times and unpredictable ones at that. We can't always afford to just walk away from something we don't like, but what we can do is Eight of Cups the moment and say, I'm going to look around. I'm going to see what else is out there, because this may not be the bee's knees, right? There might be something else that I need to do. So you can also just choose to tune it out a little bit. So whatever kind of resonates, be that as it may. Let's go a little deeper into 5 major subcategories. All right, focusing on those of you that have a job, those of you that may be owning your own business, job seekers. It's all power cards, wow. Students, and retirees. Okay, we're going to begin with those of you in a traditional job. We have one of the best possible cards here. So you have more influence, control, maybe it's even just self-control, than you may give yourself credit for. So Empress keeps on keeping on in this reading. I feel like with the daily card as well, we've had 3 different instances of her. So we better listen. She comes through and she's saying, in this moment in time, step up, take accountability, take ownership, take the reins. If you want something, go for it. If you don't do it, no one else will. She's really like one of the ultimate boss cards. There is a possibility to step up, but let's look at the challenges here as well. I like that she came forth, though. Already, I can see that for some of you, let me just zoom out a bit so we can see this. For some of you, that's too far. Okay. We have a top-heavy organization. Too many bosses. We have at least one divine feminine, but it seems like there might be an imbalance between men and women, between the doers and the sort of like the bosses. So there's something weird about the structure. And so for you, you've got what it takes, but the structure may not support the advancement that you're seeking. So you can stay as long as you want, but you may have to move, transfer, or leave in order to get the queen energy that you so deserve, okay? There are options and there are other ways. Like I said, in some companies, there might be an ability to transfer from one franchise or one division or one office to another, because then it's a completely different environment with different set of energies and rules. But otherwise, that might be what I'm seeing as a temporary glass ceiling. You can fight. You might even be able to get it. Is it worth the energy? That's the question. Because 8 of Wands, 9 of Wands, 10 of Swords, it's a battle. I'll put that out there. There could have just been something really difficult at the company. It doesn't have to necessarily be with you, but you're in the heart of the maelstrom. So there could just be some bad press. There could be someone that's sick. There could have been an argument. There's something heavy in the energy, in the air. Whatever you can do to bring light and brighter energy here is important. Work on your own if you need to. It does feel like this too shall pass. The outcome cards are better than the moment. So don't let it get under your skin, I would say. And it might be something that you have to just realize, I can't fix that, but I can fix this. We want to be mindful, though, with turning your back on things. If it's something that's wrong or illegal or not good, it comes back. Turning your back doesn't make it go away. Sometimes when you turn back around, it's bigger, right? So ask yourself if it's worth it. If someone's saying, ignore this, and you're like, I can't, then that is something that you can use to help make the next move or decision. You got at least 2 projects or things that you're focusing on. You have 2, maybe 2 to 3 too many bosses. So this is where that pushing back energy that we saw in the daily forecast is going to come in. Okay. You may be thinking of, I want to be an entrepreneur. Nice segue, because we have a really powerful card for entrepreneurs. Hierophant is great. Love it. This is what I want to see in a business. It is structured. It is together. It is organized. People are looking to it because it's like in stock markets, this would be like a blue chip company, something that you can depend on. So you have that going for you. The ability to be structured, to be a trusted person or brand or service provider. The challenge is that it's a little rigid, it's a little traditional, and we're in times where flexibility is necessary. So take what you can from the solid part, but make sure that you're always looking to the horizon and that you're not surrounding yourself with people that are too similar in the way of thinking. It's always good to have someone that can bring through innovation. You see it every day in companies, in politics, and if you surround yourself with people that don't challenge your point of view, you make mistakes. So make sure that you're getting an outside perspective, whether it's for your taxes, your overall career trajectory, innovation, whatever. Research and development in companies is supposed to be, hey, what about this? Like push the boundaries, push the sort of like what's possible. All right, you may be burned out. By the way, this is true of everybody in this category. Burnout, that's 10 of Swords. You can get through this, but you're gonna need a break. Take it now before this sticks, before it becomes something bigger, before it goes to like Tower or Devil energy. This is just an ouch. Let's not make it bigger than an ouch. This is true of everyone in this category. Be open to constructive feedback. Open your mind. You have what it takes to make this happen. I think you might be top heavy in your organizational structure. Maybe some of the execs might have to take on more work. You may need to hire more people, but something's weird about the structure. It's going in one direction or another, so balance the structure. That's what I would say with this. Otherwise, it's pretty good. The only thing that we want to be mindful of is overspending. King of Pentacles is putting too much back into the company, too much into to things that may not need to be replaced right now. So preventative maintenance, I'm always for. But an unnecessary expenditure like getting like when you're buying certain things to, like if you're in a cafe or something, there may be 3 cappuccino machines. There's one that is too cheap. There's one that is too expensive. There's one in the middle that's going to be the workhorse that'll get it done. It may not have all the bells and whistles, but this is a time where you go for the workhorse. Or maybe you buy a used one and maybe you can get that top one, but it has to be used. So you got to make some choices where even though you want everything, you have to find the happy medium. Okay, let's move on to those that are job seeking. Your biggest opportunity right now, or your biggest strength, is this ability to just sort of like rally the forces. It feels like some of you might have a background in like project management, or you're a mom or you're a dad, or you're a former entrepreneur re-entering the traditional work market. And so you know how to do multiple things at once. You're a juggler. And you can get people from different backgrounds to work together. Make sure that that's coming across. This is a travel card, so the Chariot represents, nowadays it could be any form of transportation, but you may either need to get into a car, hop on a plane, go on a bus, and meet someone in person to seal the deal, like an interview, or you might need to move, or you might need to commute for a job. Travel and distance play a component, and they will open up new opportunities. Look in a different state, city, country, or province for other work and compare it and say, well, how about there? What can I make there? How much more open is that market? Traveling is key, okay? Looking at the overall spread, there's a lot of competition at the moment. What you bring to the equation is the ability to get different people to work together. I see a lot of people that are good bosses, but you're also able to roll up your sleeves. And I see a lot of positions here that are higher. There may be something that comes across that's either more of a lateral sort of thing, like it's very similar to the last title, or it may be a slight half step under what you want, but I feel like you can easily move up to the next level. So talk, if you will, when you're interviewing about growth potential at the company that you're looking at. We already see that it might be in a different area than you're used to, so look further out. 2 options. One of them, like I said, it's busy and there's more potential, and it may be like not as high as you want. Another one, you may get the title that you want, but it's not worth the heartache. So really pay attention to going online and researching what people that have worked there have said about it. Look at the stock performance and see what's going on there. and talk to former employees if you know anybody. There's something underneath the surface. If you can, before also assuming that you can get this job, if you can go there in person. For me, that's always really told me, ooh, I don't like it. You can tell when you go into an office or, oh, this is really cool. It's going to be a fun place. You can get the energy. You can see people at their desk. Do they look like they're kind of like sad and disconnected, or are they laughing and talking? Is there, pay attention to that stuff. And ask people about the culture. What is it like? What kind of activities do workers do? What's a typical work day? What kind of overtime? Talk about all that stuff. Get a vibe, get a pulse check. Even ask them, what's your biggest challenge right now? Sometimes people spill the tea. They're not thinking. Try to get them to spill the tea. Keep good eye contact at the interview. Okay. Can you find something? Yes, but the competition is there. It may go way outside of this work week. It may be something that takes a couple months, I'm going to be honest, with the 8 or 9 of Wands, but you can get it. There's going to be a couple of cycles. You might have to meet with up to 3 people. Okay, let's go to students. I'm always happy when I get a page for a student. There may be too much on your plate with the Page of Pentacles in reverse. It's overconsumption. It's overloaded. Don't add anything else to the plate this week. Also, don't make a project bigger than it needs to be. Ask your professor, do I really need to, make sure that you're not overachieving on this, because we have a burnout card. So take something off your plate, take care of your health, make sure that you're eating, drinking, and sleeping well, that you're exercising, and that if you need to talk to a counselor, do that. Overall, the rest of the cards are good. Self-care is what's getting bubbled up here. For those that are retired, we have the 8 of Swords. It's a question. Now what? What next? Also, maybe I didn't sign up for this. Here's the cool thing. Because you're at a point in your life, hopefully, where you can call the shots, or where there's less to lose by making some sort of a shift, go for it. But there may also be a moment where it's I'm not sure how to handle this, right? Especially when we're looking at finances. I think it's really important now, because if you're near retirement, at retired, or recently retired, hopefully you've done some of the pre-work necessary for what's going on in the stock market, which is volatility. You don't want to put as much there. You want to make sure that when you're looking at your money and your investments, there's less volatility. Get advice. It's okay to not know. Ask. And don't live in a place of fear or uncertainty. Like I said, with all things, especially stock markets, they go up, they go down, then they go up again. It's just a matter of how much time are you willing and are capable of waiting, because the recovery periods can be 5, 7, 10 years. So that's why as you get closer to retirement, you want to have less money in volatile. It's just common sense. Standard disclaimer, I am not a financial advisor, but it's common sense. You're going to need the money sooner, so you don't want to put it in something that could be volatile and you have to wait longer. So I think it's a really important time right now to talk to financial advisors at any stage and just say, is this worth it? Where should I be putting my money so that I'm protected? You want to protect yourself, right? Taking it out of money, it's just like feeling a little isolated. We got the Hermit card. And so one of the things that you might be wanting to do is just gently put your feet in new opportunities. How does this feel? Do I like this? Like the Temperance card. 8 of Swords is usually not as bad as it seems. It's just a lack of information, and we think ourselves into a situation that can become the 9 of Swords, so let's not go there. Let's go to love. All right, beautiful energy on this one. Duality. There's always 2 sides to every coin, and sometimes we want to paint something as you're the good person, I'm the bad person, this is the way it should be. It's not black and white. It's not always that clear. And we all bring light and shadow to situations. So looking at that and seeing both sides of the coin, and not casting someone in a role. One thing that I had to do, and it's not like a romantic relationship, it was just a passing acquaintance that came through. They were a total pain in the neck. And I realized there was past life karma. And what I thought to myself was, this person doesn't need to have this much power. They were just coming through as a teacher. Okay, class dismissed. And And what I did when I kind of thought of that person is it's the only time I've done this, but I dismiss you almost as if I was the teacher too, because we're both teaching each other. But I dismiss you in all dimensions, in all timelines, past, present, and future, in every possible incarnation. Our karma is done. And then I had a dream where we were sitting in a circle and they went up and they pointed to the death card and then walked through it. I was like, oh, it really was done. Okay. So speak it, believe it, and allow it. You can allow for a role to be dismissed. I don't need you to be the instigator. I don't need you to be the good person, the savior. I don't need you to be the enemy. You're just a person. We're just people, and we don't need to have this role anymore. So you can release the duality. You can release all of that energy. So the dismissal, I think I used the word release, but I think dismiss is stronger. You can just say I release you, but I did it in every dimension, every timeline, every universe, everything. I'm like, I have no desire, need, or interest, or karma, or any energy to see you ever again. And with love and light, I dismiss you. May you have a wonderful existence in all of these dimensions, and may we never cross paths again. That's how you do it. You bless the crossing. You don't curse someone, you bless them, and you release them. But I also made sure that we didn't have any energy. There was no animosity. I worked for several weeks at this, several months really. And then by the end, I was like, we're good. The karma actually is done. And I don't want to intermix again. So you can do that with someone in your life, but you have to do your work. Even if they're not willing to do theirs, you do your work. You're part of the equation. You learn the lesson. You're like, I don't have to repeat that. That wasn't fun. I got it. Let's try something else. Okay? We're going to go a little lighter in this since I went down memory lane there, but I think that's a really powerful thing that I wish I knew you could do. You don't have to keep meeting people. The person that said, I don't want to incarnate again, I don't know about that. That's up to you and your guides. But I know that you don't have to meet the same people again if you don't want to, if you do things right. Okay, those in a relationship, those looking for love, single and happy. If you're in a relationship, we have a beautiful King of Wands coming through. This is someone who sees you eye to eye. We have a lot of eye contact in the cards today, don't we? So they may be unready, unwilling, or unable to articulate it, but the eyes communicate it. It's almost the same color eyes too, isn't it? So yeah, you know it too. Like, this is how I know if someone's angry. I know if someone's going to be my future friend. I know if someone's trouble. I can see it in the face a lot of times, and you can see it in the eyes. This is flirting too. So like you can tell if someone's kind of glancing at you or whatever. So pay attention to what your partner is saying with their face, with their eyes, with their nonverbal cues. Demonstrative is always part of this, demonstrating the energy, not saying it. By the way, people's love language is different. Your partner may show it. You may show it. Just make sure that the other partner understands your love language and vice versa, because the biggest challenge that I'm seeing is miscommunication. But I see a lot of love. You can get through it, but there's a different love language, and one person shows it why one might prefer to tell it. And then we also have someone here who needs or wants, and this is you ostensibly in this spread. So if you need a little bit more, say it. You can't always show it or expect the person to know. One thing that I hate in arguments is when someone says, you should know. You should know what you did. It's like, no, we're not playing games. Let's talk. I'm here. I want to help fix it. Let's articulate and discuss like human beings. Expecting me. It's different like if someone legitimately is ignoring but usually it's like, no, well, let me break it down. Here's what's bothering me. Because in that way we can avoid more tension. So that's it. Communication. What's going well? I really do feel like there's a lot of kindness and compassion and love, but sometimes the passion goes in the wrong direction. So we have something that was missaid or misheard, then we have some stubbornness, and then we have miscommunication. So I think just avoiding an argument this week. There also could just be something outside of communication that's painful or uncomfortable, so together you can cross this bridge. We have one partner that's coming through a little more strong this week, stronger. Queen of Cups, Page of Cups. So someone's going to step into the lead this week and help the other one out, and that's fine. That's the main messages for that. All right, if you're looking for love, can you find it? Yep. Slow but sure, though. Temperance takes one foot and puts it in the water. Test the water. Make sure that the person's interested in the same thing that you are. Don't immediately start picking out China on the first date. Like, just slow. It's developing. The person needs time. You need time. The little snail shell around the throat chakra. Think before you speak. Same message here. It's going to be for all love this week. We gotta level up the communication. And if you just met someone and they don't share a similar belief as you, let's put that on the side for a second. Get to know them a little bit more. See if that's worth the argument, because maybe there's a reason they believe that way. Maybe they could evolve. Maybe they're not the right person, but having the discussion right there, right now, probably not the best thing. So you're either feeling it or you don't. This is usually a lack of passion. So if you've met someone and the spark isn't there, it's not there. In existing relationships, you may need to rekindle, but in new relationships, there's no spark if there's no spark. There is a lot of power and boss energy coming forth. There could be a Leo, by the way, coming here. But there's so many cards that, I mean, this shows age and experience, and this is like a delta or a difference between that. We have either Leo or an earth sign coming through here, but both of them are very strong and have their own point of view. So make sure that you're comfortable being around someone that calls the shots, because I feel like there's a bossy energy. Mostly self-healing this week. I think taking care of yourself is key, and that kind of leads us into this. Those that are single and happy. It's an introspective week, and some of you are really trying to figure out, what do I want next? What do I want next in my life? What's the next step? Before you can get there, again, internal healing with the Ten of Swords. Allowing yourself to explore passion, desire, and new creative things in your life, definitely a part of this. Ask, get curious. That's what the Two of Swords does best. Okay, destiny. All of this is helping us to be more prosperous. Prosperity and wealth, as I said, it's not just mountains of things. It's not just making it big time. It's also feeling an amazing amount of love in your life. It's also feeling like I made an indelible mark and a better sort of like impact on this world. I feel like I left it better than I came. I made my bed. It's going to be okay for the next person. So let's make sure that we're doing that and make sure that we're feeling wealth in all of its aspects and facets. So I feel called to do one card here just to look at what is the change you need to make this week. We'll allow you to do one final question at the end, but this is a reader's choice. So just looking in this moment, what is the necessary change? Okay. So we have the King of Swords coming through, and it really is speaking up, taking action, and allowing for one of your thoughts, your goals, your dreams to just sort of like land. I love swords and I love air, being an air sign, but your head can be in the clouds, and he is sort of still in the clouds a little bit on this card. So we need to bring it down to earth. Somehow create a plan, a blueprint for how this is all going to map out. Okay? All right, let's now take a moment to meditate. Again, before doing that, please like and subscribe. If you enjoyed this, you can also give back and show a little love. I'll say thank you afterwards. All right, for the meditation today, let's focus on something that I think we're going to use the butterfly, because that makes a lot of sense. So closing your eyes for a moment, I want you to cocoon yourself in light. Choose whatever color you want from the rainbow. And if you want, choose a rainbow. But see yourself slowly tracing these circles of light around your body, and then start to see all of the energy blur together until it's just one bright cocoon protecting you. You can actually use this throughout the week if you need to ever go back to it, but just see yourself as protected, and see yourself embodying the energy of success that you already have, but let's paint it in your auric field. Now imagine that you could change something in your life. something inside ostensibly, but whatever. Just imagine that you are going through a developmental change, that you're going to emerge feeling something that you don't feel right now. So maybe that's more love, more confidence, more clarity. Maybe you just see yourself as more powerful, more beautiful, more whatever. Imagine that the change is happening, and I want you to start to push through the cocoon. Imagine now that you have these beautiful wings behind you. The cocoon gets absorbed into your energetic field. It's there. It's always been there. The protection is there. But now you have the ability to fly. You have the ability to go for it. Nothing's holding you back. Know that tomorrow is a new day. No matter how painful, how comfortable, uncomfortable, whatever today is, tomorrow's a reset. Imagine that those wings are going to take you into tomorrow and help you step into something new. I'd like you to open your eyes gently now and focus on the final question. This can be anything that you still need clarity on. And we have a beautiful card here for the final question. So we have the Four of Swords. It is reversed. Again, for this one, this is saying in this moment in time, many of you need to slow down. So we have the sepulcher, which is part of the traditional illustration here, that involves rest. Like the ultimate rest too, because it's a soul going to rest here. But when it's reversed, it's saying, I can't let it go. I can't put it to rest. I'm not giving myself enough time to sleep, to recalibrate, to renew. Slow down your schedule. Know that, again, one end is also another beginning, especially for the air signs out there. Know that, as I just said, tomorrow's a reset. And there are diminishing returns if you don't give yourself the ability to take it easy. If you ask a yes or a no, it's interesting. It depends on what your question is. Should I walk away? Is it over? Is it done? Yes. Should I do it? No. Because Four of Swords represents a lack of, it's kind of like ghosting energy or a lack of commitment or communication from someone else. So you would always have to turn the key. You would always have to engage. There's something better that's more receptive. So if you want to date someone and the Four of Swords comes through, it's a no. They're not interested. It's passive. We need something more active. Let it go, though. Let that go and focus on something else. There's an upgrade. There's something better. So I'll leave you with that. There's something better than that. All right. That was a magical reading today. I hope it helped. It's always a pleasure to be here. Again, if you enjoyed this, do me a favor, like and subscribe. I would love to get to the next level. We're very close. Feels like we've been teetering here for a while. So we'll do something special when I get, it's only like 12K away from the next one. We'll probably get there by the end of the year, but I'd love to do it sooner than later. So let's do it. Follow me on social if you haven't already. Great way for you to know if I've published something and you're not logged into YouTube on your device or whatever. You can follow me at Nicholas Ashbaugh on all major platforms. My website's also my username on Blue Sky. If you ever need more information about me, you can go to my website as well, nicholasashbaugh.com. And feel free to give back. I'm starting to do more with memberships. I wouldn't be here without your support, especially as, you know, in this sort of crazy environment that we're in right now, I feel like we really need to do more as a community. So that's why I'm doing smaller groupings with the memberships. So please show up if you can. I appreciate it. And let's give a little bit of love and gratitude right now. So thank you to everybody for showing up. Doesn't matter what you can do. Just showing up is enough, honestly, because that's what I'm here for, is to just kind of provide some help and hopefully a little bit of insight in the week ahead. Let me take a moment here to say thanks to my members. And I usually have to do it in 2 spells because the screen keeps kind of refreshing nowadays. So, all right, welcome to or welcome back to the following people. Let's see. Smargata, I hope I said that correctly. C. Colette, Kufi or Cuffy, thank you. Lauren, Jess, Be in Light, Sanmaki or Sanmaki, Sensory, Cynthia, Slow Living, Jennifer Phillips, let's see, Allison, Penelope, Cherie, let's see, okay, Megan, and the rest I'll get here as I look at anniversaries. All right, so give me a second here, and we're going to recognize fan funding and anniversaries and anybody else that I missed in that group. Okay, so thank you to the following. Lori, thank you for being a member of 20 months. You're almost at 2 years. Thank you for that amazing contribution of time and energy. And I'm happy that this helped you out. Lucy, thanks for gifting a membership. Thank you also for giving back. Melinda, thank you for becoming a channel member. My Tree Face, thank you for your contribution. We have a few contributions here in a row from Bonnie, Jackie, and Monica. Colette, you just gifted 5 memberships. You're a rock star. Thank you so much for giving back and allowing other people to be a part of the community. Popcorn, sounds good right about now. Thank you for the $20. Deborah, thanks for gifting a membership. Actually, 2 in a row. You rock. Andrea, also gifting 5. Thank you so much, guys. Amber, gifting a membership as well. Raven RB, gifting a membership. Thank you very much. Then we have some contributions here from Yolanda, Pauses and Passages, Sarah, Ruby Red. Namaste to you, and thank you both for your love and support. Let me see if I missed anyone. I think I got most of you with that. Let's see really quick at Super Stickers just to make sure that all the names seem familiar, and I got all of them. Let's see. I think we got it. Yeah, we did. All right. If I missed anything, thank you to Dakota, who helps tirelessly every week. I appreciate that. We got a couple other ones here at the end. Thank you, Susan, as well. All right, folks. Like I said, I think we'll be doing another members reading really soon. I'll take a look at the calendar, give you some advance notice on that, usually a couple of days so that you can show up. Maybe I'll do a different time frame. We'll take a look at that as well. In the meantime, wishing everybody an amazing weekend. Let me see. I think, let me see. I might wait another week. If it depends on how many. I have 5. So we'll wait one more week and I'll gift 5 next weekend because I only get 10 per month to gift out. So thanks, guys. Have a great one. And I will see you again very soon. Wishing you much love and light. Oh, let's see. Yeah, Apollo's in the other room. So you saw him plenty during today's reading. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.